Hey, so this is kind of a pay it forward type of video. I I admitted this gentleman into hospice this afternoon, and he's doing poorly. But I spoke to his sister who was there, who was lovely, and hospice is a model that has its own symptoms that you would not necessarily pick up on unless you were in hospice or somebody educated you on end of life symptoms. So, for instance, in your typical healthcare model, if you had lung disease, you'd have respiratory distress. If you had heart disease, you might have respiratory distress, swelling of the lower extremities, pain from another disease. If you were terminal illness and you were on hospice, we would still manage those symptoms. But there are end-of-life symptoms, such as Shane Stoking, interruption of breathing, visioning, where people toward the end of life will see people, pets, a decrease in appetite, unable to swallow. So, as I was examining this patient, he was Shane Stoking. And I showed her, you see, he's not breathing right now. And then maybe 15 seconds went by and he started breathing. And she said, oh, I'd never noticed that. How would you? Then he's waving to girls sitting behind us. Now, there were no girls sitting behind us, but she said, he's been doing that. That's new. So I explained to her that these are end-of-life symptoms. And she got it. And she said, I never knew that. Thank you so much. And again, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know what to look for. You wouldn't know it. So this is why hospice comes in. So end-of-life symptoms typically start occurring 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks. So I would say this gentleman has about 6 weeks to live. So she was very grateful. And I believe we are all each other's teachers. You might not like what you're being taught. You might like what you're being taught, but we are all each other's teachers. So I said to her, and I don't know why I was getting so philosophical, but I said, you're welcome, but we are all each other's teachers. So what do you got for me? And she said, what? I said, we are all each other's teachers, so I'm sure you have something for me that I don't know. And she said, okay. Set your iPhone or iWatch or whatever watch you have, set it each hour during the day, and when it alarms, stand up or sit up straight, take a breath, pause, and be grateful. And then you ask God, your higher power, the universe, whatever. She said God. What do you want me to do next? Who am I supposed to meet next? What am I supposed to learn next? What am I supposed to share with somebody next? And I said, you see, you taught me something. Thank you. I like that, and I'm going to pay it forward. So I had this conversation with my manager just not that long ago, and she said, girl, I like that. I'm going to use that again. And I'm going to use it again. So paying it forward, and now I'm sharing it with you. So hope that was helpful. And we always have somebody, something, and somebody to be grateful for. Have a good night.